It's time for America Outdoors Radio. The fast-paced hour of outdoors radio ahead is not only awesome, but unlike those other shows, you can actually sleep in for this one. Better still, we've got a special Pacific Northwest edition for you, sponsored by Northwest Sportsman Magazine, Rugged Point Lodge on Vancouver Island, and Northwest Fishing Guides out of our hometown here in Everett. You won't find this version of America Outdoors Radio anywhere else. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio. Brought to you by Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
We've got a great Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio for you this week. We're going to be talking with Gary Crine with All-Star Charters. He fishes out of Seattle and Everett. He's going to tell you where to catch blackmouth salmon this winter in the Sound at the bottom of the hour. And at the end of the show, we'll share exactly how he goes about doing it. It's some good tips you're going to appreciate. And as we do every week, it's time to tell you what's hot and what's not here in the Pacific Northwest. There was a lot of angler effort for blackmouth salmon in Puget Sound around New Year's. Here's what Creel Checkers found on December 30th. The best fishing was out of Bellingham. The Bellingham ramp, they checked 17 boats and 44 anglers had 24 blackmouth. Camano Island was not quite as good. Again, 17 boats, but only 7 Chinook caught there. Edith's Hook at Port Angeles, 7 boats, 14 anglers, 8 Chinook, not a bad percentage there. At Everett, lots of effort, but not much success. 31 boats, 65 anglers, only 3 Chinook. The John Wayne Marina, 6 boats, 12 anglers, 3 Chinook. Kingston, 11 boats, 21 anglers, and only 1 Chinook. And finally, Shill Shoal, 6 boats, 13 anglers, only 2 Chinook. So, again, the hot spots appear to be fishing out of Bellingham and fishing out of Port Angeles. From NorthwestFishingReports.com, we learn Lake Sammamish near Redmond has been fishing well this past week for cutthroat trout to 17 inches. Successful anglers are trolling about 25 feet deep. Lake Boren near Newcastle is giving up a few cutthroat as well, up to 11 inches. And in eastern Washington, Lake Roosevelt continues to be the hot spot in this very cold part of the state. Several anglers posted about catching rainbow trout and kokanee there, and one lucky angler netted a 4.5-pound kokanee. Wow, that's as big, if not bigger, than quite a few of the sockeye being caught last summer. And we have one report from the Wainuchi River, where steelhead fishing was slow last week, despite the efforts of quite a few of the anglers who were plunking spinning glows in the low, clear waters of this southwest Washington River. One other thing that's hot is razor clamming on the Pacific coast, especially at Kalaloch, which is opening up again January 8th, that's Sunday, and January 9th, that's Monday. These are afternoon digs, and this is a beautiful place to go clamming. You're in Olympic National Park, and it's just fantastic scenery. Meanwhile, on the duck hunting front, I checked the latest migration report from Ducks Unlimited and found a group hunting near Ferndale had an excellent day of hunting on Monday with limits for their group of 7. Meanwhile, another hunter near Lacey said the birds were flying, but they weren't flying his way and he didn't have much luck near the Tri-Cities. A hunter there reported educated local birds and increasing numbers of not as educated northern birds in the area. We still got a couple weeks to go for waterfowl hunting season, and we've got some more Pacific Flyway duck hunting reports coming your way in just a few minutes. So there you go. That's what's hot and what's not this week in the Pacific Northwest.
And with that, let's head to this week's national edition of America Outdoors Radio.
2017 is here, and that means it's time to go to the biggest and the best sportsman shows in the Northwest. Brought to you by O'Laughlin Trade Shows. Things kick off with the Washington Sportsman Show from January 25th through the 29th at the State Fairgrounds in Puyallup. Following that is one of the biggest shows in the country, the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show, taking place at the Expo Center in Portland from February 8th through the 12th. And don't forget the Central Oregon Sportsman Show, March 2nd through the 5th at the Deschutes County Fairgrounds in Redmond. Check out seminar schedules, special attractions, and discounts at otshows.com. That's otshows.com for the biggest and best sportsman shows in the Northwest. Looking for a way to get the message out about your business to hunters and anglers throughout the Seattle and Everett area? Then consider advertising with America Outdoors Radio on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO. To find out more, contact John Cruz through his website at americaoutdoorsradio.com.
It's time for America Outdoors Radio, the show that covers the outdoor scene across the U.S. of A. and the entire continent. Fishing, hunting, conservation, outdoor recreation, and great destinations, we cover it all every week. It's your country, your outdoors. Let's explore it together with your host, John Cruz.
Welcome to the show. How did you celebrate New Year's Day last weekend? Did you party late into the night on New Year's Eve and sleep through most of the day? Or did you binge watch some NFL football games? Perhaps you went on one of those first day hikes that took place at state parks around the country, getting outside and getting some exercise in the process. If you live near the border of California and Nevada, another way to celebrate New Year's Day is fishing at Lake Topaz, which opens up for the season every New Year's Day. Topaz Lake is located along US 395 south of Gardnerville along the Nevada-California border. According to the Nevada Department of Wildlife, the Topaz opener is always a party. Many people spend the night at the lake and wake up the next morning and start their New Year's Day with some fishing. And the fishing can be good, thanks to the 50,000 trout stocked there in the early fall. There are also whitefish and bass in this lake as well. And as an added bonus, Topaz Lodge is running its annual fishing derby from January 1st through April 16th. Catch a tagged fish and win instant cash and free slot play. Each Topaz Lodge tagged fish will be worth $100 cash, $10 in free slot play, plus 5 entries into the drawing. You can learn more about this derby at topazlodge.com. So there you are, something else to do on New Year's Day here in our great country. Let's talk about what we've got for you this week on America Outdoors Radio. We'll kick things off in just a couple of minutes with Kent Contreras. He is a pro staffer with Avery Outdoors. He'll be providing us with a Pacific Flyway waterfowl hunting report covering the states of Washington, Oregon, California, and Nevada. After that, we'll chat with Sue Hankner with Safari Club International. You may not know this, but SCI puts on an educational camp for teachers near Jackson, Wyoming every summer, meant to educate them about the North American model of game management and the shooting sports. It's called the American Wilderness Leadership School. There's a lot of hands-on experiences involved, and it equips teachers with a better understanding of how hunting and fishing fit into the conservation equation. For any of you teachers listening today, Sue will also tell you how you can get in on this as well. After we talk with Sue from Safari Club International, we'll talk to Skip Clemens about safaris in Africa. If you have ever wanted to go hunting like Ernest Hemingway did for the most dangerous game, you'll want to hear what Skip has to say about what his company, Adventure Hunts, has to offer. If you prefer to have your adventures on this continent and you're looking for a rugged trailer that will go anywhere your 4x4 pickup or SUV can go, you'll want to hear about the trailers made by Conqueror of North America, and David Bates with that company will be happy to tell you more about them. We've got outdoors news about 2 new national monuments in our nation and about the rescue of a cow moose that fell through the ice. Speaking of ice, we'll also tell you about an ice fishing tournament taking place near the border of Washington and British Columbia that is unique in the fact that some years nobody catches any fish, but everyone has a good time. It's the Northwest Ice Fishing Festival, and it's taking place in Molson, Washington next Saturday. Next up on America Outdoors Radio, it's January, and we thought this would be a good time to give you a West Coast waterfowl hunting report. With us here to do that is Kent Contreras with Avery Outdoors. He's a pro staffer for him, and Kent, along with other pro staffers, compile migration reports throughout the season that they have been sharing with us. Kent, great to have you on the show again.
Thanks, John.
So, Kent, it took a long time for those northerns to come in, but they are here now. Let's talk about how the hunting has been along the West Coast. We'll start with Washington State. That's your home state. How have things been in the last few weeks?
Last few weeks, we've had a lot of birds that have come down into the Columbia Basin area. They're concentrating there, of course, up in the farther reaches where the snow loads are too deep for the birds to hit the fields. They're moving more central of the state. And over on the west side of the state, the small geese have pretty much left that area.
Sure.
But the pintail and widgeon and smaller birds, the ducks are coming into those areas again and making hunting pretty decent over on the west side.
And I have heard reports that the snow goose hunting and the duck hunting over in Skagit Flats, Northwest Washington, has been exceptionally good this year.
It has. Just reading the reports and talking to our other pro staff in the area, they've had a phenomenal year, and it seems like they've done very well. Folks are coming out of there with limits on a daily basis, and hopefully it sticks around for them, and they can keep that up.
Let's head down to the Beaver State in Oregon, Willamette Valley. I know that's where a lot of those lessers will generally overwinter, for lack of a better word. Is that where they're at now, or are they kept moving south?
At this point in time, our reports are showing that there's still a few birds in that area, and they're slowly migrating to the south. I believe our next big push of weather is going to probably get most of those birds moving again. But it has been pretty decent from what I've heard, and the ducks are still continuing to move through the area also.
I know one place that has been good for duck hunting all season long has been around Sauvie Island there off the Columbia River near Portland. Have you been hearing similar reports from hunters who are either hunting the coast or hunting along the Columbia?
I haven't heard too much from that area, but what I've been able to pick up is that, it's Sauvie Island, and you're going to get birds there most of the year. That's a good place. The Columbia down there off of the Portland area, and those hunters down there are continuing to get fresh birds and keep pulling out good numbers.
All right, and moving down to California, Sacramento Valley is always thought of as one of the premier duck hunting locations along the West Coast. What have you been hearing down there?
Great reports from California. The water situation has basically it's increased to the point that the rice and the fields out there, that the crops that they have, they've got plenty of water, and the birds are loving it down there, and so are the hunters. Just everything I've been hearing from that Sac Valley has been good, especially with the amount of moisture that's come into the area.
And one nice thing about the Sacramento Valley is, yes, there are private hunting clubs, there are private lands you can access maybe, but there's quite a bit of public lands, much more than I thought there would be in California.
I haven't done any hunting down there, but from what I know, there's plenty of areas for the public hunter, and again, if you do your scouting and do your homework, you should be able to find some areas that are holding birds.
All right, last but not least, let's head over to the state of Nevada. People think of that as just barren desert, but it's not exactly true. There are places where you can find ducks and geese there. Yeah,
the Fallon area, Reno area, there's some very good hunting down there, and our reports from pro staff in that area, they're coming out of a drought, and as the water increases, the precipitation in those areas, the hunting's going to get better, and hopefully for the next couple of years, they continue to increase in the precipitation, which will bring the birds back into those areas. There's a lot of agricultural area in that Fallon and southern Reno area that hold birds, and we'll continue to if we can get the moisture in there.
All right. We have got to go, but folks, check out what Avery Outdoors has to offer. If you are a waterfowl hunter, whether a duck hunter or a goose hunter, they've got a lot that you are going to want. It's Avery Outdoors, and again, their pro staff has done a great job this season of updating us about the duck and goose hunting conditions. Kent, thanks so much for all this information and for sharing it on America Outdoors Radio.
You bet. You're welcome, John.
That's Kent Contreras, a pro staffer with Avery Outdoors. Thank you again so much. Stick around. We've got a lot more coming at you this week on America Outdoors Radio. And in our next segment, we'll be talking to Sue Hankner. She's with Safari Club International. She's going to tell you all about the American Wilderness Leadership School. Takes place near Jackson, Wyoming. Beautiful part of the country. If you've never been there before, or to Grand Teton National Park, you are missing out. I mean, this is some of the most beautiful country you will ever see, and the mission of this school is very impressive indeed, educating our teachers so they can educate our kids about the great outdoors and how hunting and fishing help us with conservation.
Being Molson for the 13th Annual Northwest Ice Fishing Festival, January 14, 2017, for a chance to ice fish and win the grand prize valued at $1,000. Molson is in north central Washington near the Canadian border and Oroville, Washington. Augers available. There's more, too. We'll kick off the day with a pancake and ham feed at the Molson Grange Hall, and Arts and Crafts show runs all day, and we've got bingo from 1 to 3 p.m. Want to find out more? Go to orovillewashington.com. That's orovillewashington.com.
Tillamook Bay is considered the greatest fishing experience on the west coast for fall Chinook salmon and winter steelhead, and Dungeness crab is plentiful. 5 major rivers connect with the ocean on the Tillamook coast. It's not unusual to snag a 40 to 50 pounder. Go out in a boat or stand on a riverbank or dock. Try fishing from a dory boat and experience the thrill of a beach launch and landing. Use spinners, sand shrimp, or salmon eggs to lure them. The fish will line up to grab your bait. Go to tillamookcoast.com/fishing to find guides and places to stay.
In Humboldt County, something wild happens in the wintertime. Thousands of visitors swim underwater to Humboldt shores, seeking partners of the opposite sex. We're talking steelhead. January to March, more here than anywhere else in California. And we celebrate with fishing and photo contests and $10,000 in cash prizes. Special access, spawning and restoration tours, films and festivities for the entire family. So drive, fly, or swim underwater to Humboldt Steelhead Days.
Low-limit saltwater salmon fishing got you down? Don't be sad. Head to the mighty Columbia River and get into the great steelhead and salmon fishing going on this year. Mike Salazar with Salt to Summit Guide Service is the man to go fish with. He's got over 25 years experience and knows how to catch a limit of fish. In fact, he's so confident in your success, he'll guarantee a fish. Book your Columbia River trip now at salttosummit.com. That's salt, then the number 2, then summit.com. Did you check out this month's edition of Northwest Sportsman Magazine? If you didn't, you're missing out, because it's the best publication out there that covers the fishing and hunting scene, not only in Washington State, but in the entire Northwest. Northwest Sportsman Magazine has got great writers and great content you need to have to be successful. Northwest Sportsman Magazine is the publication for you. Find out more at nwsportsmanmag.com or pick up a copy at a newsstand near you.
Alaska Fish on Charters has 4 saltwater boats and 5 river boats, along with the best guides to run them. We've been in business for over 24 years fishing the Kenai Peninsula waters. I guarantee great prices and smiles on your faces when you leave the Great Alaska. We fish king salmon, red salmon, silver salmon, and pink salmon, and trophy trout in the Kenai River. Our saltwater boats fish for halibut, lingcod, rockfish, and salmon. Don't miss out on this trip of a lifetime with Alaska Fish on Charters. Looking for the safest, most stable riding boat on the market? Welcome to Stabicraft. Born in New Zealand, Stabicraft has a built-in reputation for making the most seaworthy boats on the market. Heavy gauge aluminum chambered boats with models ranging from 14 to 29 feet in a variety of configurations to suit all your needs. Check out the all-new 2750 center cab, a walk-around design for the Northwest market, and packed with industry-leading features to suit all types of fishing, allowing you to adventure with confidence. Book a test ride today at stabicraft.com.
Are you an outfitter, sporting goods retailer, boat dealer, or someone else in the outdoors industry? If you are, you know targeted advertising works best, and what would work better than advertising with America Outdoors Radio? Our hour-long show is heard throughout Seattle, Everett, and the East Side every Saturday morning, and your message will be heard there too. Better still, our rates are way more affordable than you think. Want to find out more? Contact me, John Cruz, through my website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. That's America Outdoors Radio, bringing you more business. Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz, and this portion of the show is brought to you by the American Shooting Journal. It is the monthly publication that covers the shooting sports and firearms scene throughout the United States. Look for it at a newsstand near you. Up next, we are talking with Sue Hankner. She's with Safari Club International. And when most people think of SCI, they think of conservation, maybe in Africa. They think of hunting in Africa. But they do some great work in terms of education and conservation right here in the U.S. And one way they do it is through the American Wilderness Leadership School. Sue, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Sue, why don't you tell our listeners more about the American Wilderness Leadership School?
Well, the school is located just south of Jackson Hole, Wyoming, in the Granite Creek Recreation Area. It's surrounded by national forests and Bureau of Land Management land. And it's a great location for us to gather teachers from across the country to come in for an 8-day workshop to be able to learn conservation education, to learn the kinds of conservation concepts that they can incorporate into math, language arts, social studies, physical education, and other things that they might be teaching, including the fine arts. And so the basis of the curriculum is the North American model of wildlife management that's used in North America in the United States. And so they learn about the science of that. And then we go on to introduce them to shooting sports. They learn the ecology of riparian areas. Then after shooting sports time, we go into teaching them how to use the outdoors as a classroom. It's $1 billion classroom when you get into the outdoors, and kids really thrive when you're teaching them outside. And my personal philosophy in education is all about having fun teaching and having fun learning. My background is in the psychology of learning, and we try to apply that in this setting for teachers because they need to enjoy working with their kids wherever they might be working with them. But when you take kids outside and you do hands-on kinds of experiences like we're teaching these teachers, the teachers have fun with it and the kids really enjoy it. And it's really the kind of learning that lasts longer. It makes connections in the brains of the kids. And so they get a wonderful experience from that. We also take them on field trips where they get to interact with people in the Bureau of Land Management and Wyoming Game and Fish, those people that are wildlife biologists working in the field in terms of the responsibility of managing wildlife populations on public lands and multiple use of public lands. So they learn a great deal about that and the human impact on habitat. We go from Jackson down to Pinedale, where the gas fields are, so that they get to see that human impact and where the migration corridor is and the effect that's had on the antelope populations and the elk populations in that area. And we give them lots of materials that they get to take home and use.
You know, when you talk about being near Jackson Hole, two things come to mind. Number one, you've got that elk refuge. It's just right out of town right there. And, of course, you've got Grand Teton National Park. Do the teachers get to visit those places as well?
We do. We go to the elk refuge, and there's an elk refuge visitor center, so they get a presentation there on how the elk refuge happened to come about, how it's maintained, and the impact that has in terms of managing wildlife, at least in Wyoming. And then at Teton Park, we go to their visitor center, and they get to learn quite a bit there about the geology and biology of the area, but it's one of those areas where they can we're able to present the fire ecology and the impact that has in terms of managing wildlife.
So, Sue, tell me about for lack of a better word, the campus for the American Wilderness Leadership School. What kind of place is this, and where does the classroom work or field work take place?
Well, we're 8 miles back in on a Forest Service road off the main road. And we have a large lodge that has a dormitory section to it. It has a dining hall. It has a library, the kitchen area, of course, and then several classrooms, a large one and a couple of other smaller classrooms. And so what we do with our coursework is we try to spend, out of a 2-hour class, maybe only 20 minutes inside just to lay the groundwork for things. And then we go outside and actually do things in the outdoors, whether it be in the stream or we hike up the road a little ways, or in the shooting sports, we're outside. We have 2 ranges, actually 3 ranges that we can shoot at. And then these teachers that come there, they earn their certification to be instructors for the National Archery in the Schools program. So we do quite a bit with target archery. And then we move into 3D archery so that they're beginning to understand the bow hunting aspect of archery.
Sue, this sounds absolutely wonderful. So the next question is this. For those teachers that are listening to the show today, or those who know teachers, how do they apply? How do they get involved? What's the cost?
The cost is $900, which is subsidized through our foundation. But also, we have sponsorships available. Mossy Oak has provided some, and some individuals. The Sables organization within Safari Club raises money to be able to pay for that $900, plus give them about a $250 travel stipend. We also get money from the Hunter Legacy Fund to be able to help do that. So for the teacher, they might have to pay a little bit for their travel expenses, but all these other things will be paid for them, and they can apply by going to our website, Safari Club International Foundation, and the application is right on the website. They can download that, complete it, and then send it in to us. And the contact information for Todd Rogenkamp, our Deputy Director, is there, as well as for myself.
All right, so that's safariclubfoundation.org is the place to go to apply for a slot at the American Wilderness Leadership School. One other question for you here. This takes place during the summer, obviously. Is it just one workshop, or is it a series of workshops that take place throughout the summer?
Actually, it's the same workshop, but we hold it 6 different times through the summer. So there's a couple in June, a couple in July, and a couple in August as well.
And I'm guessing that these slots fill up pretty quick, so folks that are interested probably should register sooner than later.
Sooner than later is far better, not only to be able to get in there, but if you're going to make airline reservations in and out of Jackson Hole, you want to do those as soon as you possibly can, because as you get closer to the summer, the price increases. It is an international tourist destination during the summer months, and so that drives the cost up.
Oh, it absolutely is an international tourist destination, folks. Over 2 million people a year visit Grand Teton National Park, and for very good reason. It's one of the most beautiful places you're going to see in the continental United States. So, again, it's the Safari Club International Foundation. They put on the American Wilderness Leadership School. You can find out more about it by going to their website at safariclubfoundation.org. If you're a teacher or know a teacher, encourage them to go ahead and apply and take part in this great experience, and they can take that knowledge and bring it to their kids and their classrooms all around the country. Sue, I think it's fantastic that your organization is putting this on. I think it's going to make a big difference for our students and our teachers throughout the nation.
Thank you. We really appreciate being able to tell people about it. It's a great experience for teachers.
That's Sue Hankner, folks, with Safari Club International. And speaking of SCI, their annual Hunters Convention is coming up really soon. It's going to take place February 1st through the 4th at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. That's a wonderful casino if you haven't been there before. In addition to all sorts of exhibitors and booths that are going to be there, there's going to be lots of seminars, 41 speakers giving 84 seminars to help you be a better hunter, learn about conservation and other issues, and there's auctions for hunts and more, to include a 3-day Pakistan ibex hunt, an 8-day South African plains game hunt, and even a 3-day Pennsylvania white-tailed deer hunt. You can find out more about the SCI Hunters Convention at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas by going to safariclub.org. That's safariclub.org.
Be in Molson for the 13th Annual Northwest Ice Fishing Festival, January 14, 2017, for a chance to ice fish and win the grand prize valued at $1,000. Molson is in north central Washington near the Canadian border and Oroville, Washington. Augers available. There's more, too. We'll kick off the day with a pancake and ham feed at the Molson Grange Hall. An arts and crafts show runs all day, and we've got bingo from 1 to 3 p.m. Want to find out more? Go to orovillewashington.com. That's orovillewashington.com.
Hughes Craft is the Pacific Northwest best-selling boat. It's a family fishing boat that has been providing the most safety, fishability, and the best value to Northwest boaters since 1948. Hughes Craft's welded aluminum boats are built for serious fishermen with plenty of room for fighting fish, not the rest of the crew. Our state-of-the-art design allows for pure fishing functionality and the durability to last season after season, year after year, and decade after decade. To find the Hughes Craft dealer nearest you, visit hughescraft.com.
It's time for another local shot of the outdoors. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, and you'll only hear it here on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
Next on our Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, we're checking in with Gary Crine, the longtime owner of All Star Fishing Charters out of Seattle and Everett. Gary, how's the blackmouth fishing been?
You know, it's been pretty decent. We had a really great November, and we've caught fish on a couple of trips here in December. So there's some out there to be had.
You know, blackmouth salmon, they're juvenile Chinook, but I understand they can be decent size. What kind of fish are you getting on average, and what's the biggest one you've gotten so far this fall?
Well, average size is, 6 to 8 pounds, biggest that I have gotten is just under 13 pounds this fall, which is a decent fish.
And what marine area are you fishing right now?
Right now, we're fishing in area 8.2, just outside of Everett, here out around at or Gedney Island or up by Camino Head area. And then if we are departing out of our Seattle location, area 10 is also open, and that would be Jefferson Head and Kingston area. Area 9 has closed and is scheduled or projected to reopen sometime in January.
Now, are we still looking at a one-fish limit at this point?
We did set the limit at one fish, or the department did, at one Chinook salmon for the winter season in these inner areas of Puget Sound, and we are still at that setting.
All right. Well, folks, if you want to go fishing with Gary, he knows his stuff. He's got a great boat. You'll have a wonderful time. Just go to allstarfishing.com. That's the website, allstarfishing.com. Gary, we're going to hit you up again in just a second for a how-to segment, but thanks for joining us on America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon.
There's a whole bunch more of the great outdoors coming your way on Fox Sports 1380.
Are you an outfitter, sporting goods retailer, boat dealer, or someone else in the outdoors industry? If you are, you know targeted advertising works best, and what would work better than advertising with America Outdoors Radio? Our hour-long show is heard throughout Seattle, Everett, and the East Side every Saturday morning, and your message will be heard there too. Better still, our rates are way more affordable than you think. Want to find out more? Contact me, John Cruz, through my website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. That's America Outdoors Radio, bringing you more business.
Jim Houston inviting you on a West Coast wilderness vacation to Duncanby Lodge. Fish on your own or with a guide, catch the bite when you're ready. No set meal times here. And this, in a setting just off the entrance to Majestic Rivers Inlet. Come on up this summer and enjoy a few days. Check us out at Duncanby.com.
Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. This portion of the show is brought to you by the Alaska Sporting Journal. And if you're looking for a trailer, a camper, so to speak, to take to Alaska, maybe you could do the whole Alaska Highway experience, I've got a good one for you. It's made by Conqueror North America. They call them the Swiss Army knife of off-road campers. With us here to tell you more is David Bates. David, welcome to the show.
Hey, John. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. Thank you so much. Let's tell listeners about your very unique and rugged off-road campers that are way different than your average tent trailer.
You're right. They're definitely different. So they originate in South Africa, and they've been very successful there in South Africa and also in Australia. And over there, those guys really know how to build them. Conquer originally started out building military trailers, and then they phased into the more consumer-level trailers. And these trailers can, anywhere your 4x4 can go. You can, if you have the solar panels and the lithium battery option, you can live off-grid 4 to 5 hours of sun a day, basically indefinitely.
Wow. So first things first, how big are these trailers?
Well, we have 4 different models, and the model number, the 490, is the biggest trailer, which is 4.9 meters long, or roughly about 17 feet long, and about 6.5 feet wide. But it's very deceptive, the size. So when they're all collapsed, it looks very, very small, but as you said, they are the Swiss Army knife of camping trailers, and they just fold out into where you get a whole host of different facilities and options for you to use while you're camping.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about that. Let's say I've got the big model, and I've got it set up. What am I going to find inside?
Well, to start off, the setup time for the 490, it's a UEV 490 Extreme is what we call it, and the setup time for that is less than 5 minutes.
Wow.
You can open up the door, you pop the lid if you want to, and you can go to sleep right there. Inside, you'll find sleeping for 5. You'll find a radio, a TV. Then we have a control system, which we call a Neutron 12, and it's in-house developed. You can log into it with your iPhone or your smartphone or a computer, and you can control the whole trailer from that.
Very interesting. Any kitchen facilities, restroom facilities?
Well, the concept behind Conquer is to get people outside. too many times, people, they buy the campers nowadays, and they basically are living inside and they never enjoy nature. So the kitchen, the bathroom facilities are all outside. Like you said, a Swiss Army knife, you pull the kitchen area out, and you're able to cook on a 2-burner propane stove. You have a 90-liter fridge freezer, and then you have all your cutlery and crockery there. There's a prep station to prep all your food. The bathroom is on the other side, where you get hot and cold water for both a shower and a sink. And then if you want to, you can option up and you can get an air conditioner or also a propane heater for the inside of the trailer.
So here's a question for you. You build this as something that can go anywhere a four-wheel drive vehicle can go. How do you make this so it does that, unlike other trailers that are out there?
Well, it all starts with the chassis. Our chassis is, for lack of a better word, it looks like a wishbone. And it's a fully hot-dipped galvanized chassis that has been proven over almost 30 years of experience in the safari in Africa and the outback in Australia. Full independent suspension with the sway bar. There's about 2 feet of clearance, and it's just time-proven, tested technology.
Oh, it sounds fantastic. And is there any wood involved with the construction of this, or is it all metal?
There is zero wood. We don't believe that a trailer should have wood. Wood will eventually get wet, it will rot and fall apart.
And I guess I shouldn't have said metal. It's probably more than just metal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is more than just metal. So we use a host of different materials. There's stainless steel, there's aluminum. We place it on the trailer where it makes sense structurally and also to keep weight down.
And I guess that's the last question I have for you. How much does your lightest model and your biggest model weigh?
The lightest model base weight is 1,000 pounds.
Nice.
And the heaviest model, fully loaded with everything, is 4,300 pounds.
So you could literally tow one of these with just a small little pickup. You don't need a full-size rig to do this.
Right. Basically, any small pickup, any of those can tow it.
All right. Well, if you want to find out more, folks, about the Swiss Army knife of off-road campers that will go anywhere that you can go to Conqueror4x4USA.com. That's Conqueror4x4USA.com. David, thanks for telling us all about this on America Outdoors Radio.
All right. Thank you, John.
You're back with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. It is New Year's, and maybe you have a resolution to go on the hunt of a lifetime. Well, if you do, you might want to go to Africa on a safari. With us here to tell you how you can do that is Skip Clemens with Adventure Hunts. Skip, welcome to the show.
John, thank you very much. Nice to be on your program.
So tell our listeners a little bit about what you offer.
Well, we started marketing African safaris about 24 years ago. And I decided when I came back off my first safari, it was such a fantastic experience that I decided to target first-timers and provide information to the sportsmen out there that they can go on an African safari for 8 to 10 days and take 8 to 10 animals for less than they could go on a guided caribou or guided elk hunt.
Wow.
And it was the real thing. I heard a quote once, and it said, once the dust of Africa gets on you, you'll always go back. And I can tell you today, after 18 trips, it's true.
Well, Skip, you offer hunts that are very, well, how should I say it, Hemingway-esque in terms of the big game. You've got, hunting for Cape buffalo, leopard, lion, elephant, rhino, hippo, and crocodile. Where are these taking place, South Africa or somewhere else?
No, we represent different safari companies for years now in many different countries. Most of our plains game packages that take place in South Africa and Namibia, and a lot of our dangerous game hunts take place in Mozambique, South Africa, the northern part in the Limpopo province, and a few in Zimbabwe. Very limited there. We're very cautious about that for that area to make sure that we offer really good and proper outfitters. And Tanzania, Benin, for different species, unique species in the different countries within Africa. Africa is kind of a general word, so it's kind of there's many countries inside of it and great destinations.
Absolutely, and I think we need to dispel, some influences that come out of the mainstream media. Hunting, it really is conservation when it comes to hunting in Africa, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, and there's been conservation awards not only in South Africa but Namibia for the wildlife management that they do there, and they're well regulated. They'll be hunting there forever. There's so much game there, and it's so well managed. And the sportsmen play a big part in that, in the economic value and just the experience that they receive themselves. And in the dangerous game species and then all the hype on the media, they look at it for emotion and not the sound science of the value of the hunting and what needs to be done there to not only to maintain a good, I'll say, the land can only support so many species, so they're well managed in all the properties.
And I'm glad you pointed that out. Let's talk about what a safari looks like. Obviously, 8 to 10 days. I'm glad you said that, because anything shorter than 7 I know is way too short when it comes to going to Africa. You're going to take that long 20-hour flight, give or take, to Johannesburg or somewhere else. And what happens next?
Well, typically when we work with a client, we'll help him organize his airfare. We have a guest house in place about 10 minutes from the airport. So when they arrive, we have a person with a sign with their name on it, unless they're transferring on immediately, and that doesn't happen too often because of the timing when the planes land. But once they arrive, they're pretty much handheld all the way, and then depending on which location or which property they're hunting, for instance, in South Africa or Namibia, they'll fly to their next destination, which is usually all-inclusive when they book their tickets. And then they're picked up by our safari company there and taken to the property. And one thing unique about our package that we put together so many years ago, there was just a small handful of us that did it. All of our packages include the daily rate, and that includes the tracker, skinner's guide, food, lodging, the beverages, and daily laundry service. And it also includes the trophy fees or the license tags, trophy fees for the animals that are listed in each of the package. So they're all inclusive.
I like it a lot. Where can folks find out more about booking a trip with Adventure Hunts?
Well, they can email me at adventurehunts@yahoo.com. They can call me at 425-246-2970. And they can visit our website, which is being updated with all our new hunts for this coming year, 2017 and 18, and they can get information there.
And that website would be adventurehunts.com, folks. That's adventurehunts.com. Check it out and plan on a great New Year's resolution. Book a trip to Africa, something you definitely won't ever forget. Skip, thanks for telling us all about this on America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting.
Planning your next hunting trip in Oregon or Washington? Our Rams Game Management Unit maps show you the big picture on where you're going, as well as the topography and road trail information to help you get there. And they've got public land information, game management unit boundaries, and UTM information for GPS users to keep you out of trouble. Rams Game Management Unit maps are a great planning tool for safe and successful hunts. Look for Rams maps at your local sporting goods store, or see our entire line of maps on the web at bigskymaps.com.
Have you always wanted to go on an African safari but think it's cost prohibitive? Skip Clemens with Adventure Hunts explains.
Decided when I came back off my first safari, it was such a fantastic experience that I decided to target first-timers and provide information to the sportsmen out there that they can go on an African safari for 8 to 10 days and take 8 to 10 animals for less than they could go on a guided caribou or guided elk hunt.
Find out more at adventurehunts.com. That's adventurehunts.com.
Be in Molson for the 13th Annual Northwest Ice Fishing Festival, January 14, 2017, for a chance to ice fish and win the grand prize valued at $1,000. Molson is in north central Washington near the Canadian border and Oroville, Washington. Augers available. There's more, too. We'll kick off the day with a pancake and ham feed at the Molson Grange Hall, and Arts and Crafts Show runs all day, and we've got bingo from 1 to 3 p.m. Want to find out more? Go to orovillewashington.com. That's orovillewashington.com.
Looking for the safest, most stable riding boat on the market? Welcome to Stabicraft. Born in New Zealand, Stabicraft has a built-in reputation for making the most seaworthy boats on the market. Heavy-gauge aluminum chambered boats with models ranging from 14 to 29 feet in a variety of configurations to suit all your needs. Check out the all-new 2750 center cab, a walk-around design for the Northwest market and packed with industry-leading features to suit all types of fishing, allowing you to adventure with confidence. Book a test ride today at stabicraft.com.
Tillamook Bay is considered the greatest fishing experience on the west coast for fall Chinook salmon and winter steelhead, and Dungeness crab is plentiful. 5 major rivers connect with the ocean on the Tillamook coast. It's not unusual to snag a 40 to 50 pounder. Go out in a boat or stand on a riverbank or dock. Try fishing from a dory boat and experience the thrill of a beach launch and landing. Use spinners, sand shrimp, or salmon eggs to lure them. The fish will line up to grab your bait. Go to tillamookcoast.com/fishing to find guides and places to stay.
Be in Molson for the 13th Annual Northwest Ice Fishing Festival, January 14, 2017, for a chance to ice fish and win the grand prize valued at $1,000. Molson is in north central Washington near the Canadian border and Oroville, Washington. Augers available. There's more, too. We'll kick off the day with a pancake and ham feed at the Molson Grange Hall. An arts and crafts show runs all day, and we've got bingo from 1 to 3 p.m. Want to find out more? Go to orovillewashington.com. That's orovillewashington.com.
You're back with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. This portion of the show is brought to you by California Sportsman Magazine. It is the publication that covers the hunting, fishing, and outdoor scene throughout the great state of California every month. Look for it at a newsstand near you. In outdoors news from multiple media outlets, we share that President Barack Obama has used the Antiquities Act to set aside 2 big areas in the western United States as national monuments. The Bears Ears National Monument in Utah covers, get this, 1.35 million acres, which includes ancient Native American dwellings and other artifacts. Native Americans and environmentalists were very pleased about this, but conservative politicians in the state, many of whom opposed the federal government managing existing BLM and Forest Service lands, were very, very angry about this announcement. Another national monument was created in Nevada, not far from Las Vegas. The 300,000-acre Gold Butte National Monument is meant to protect petroglyphs and other rock art, along with Native American artifacts and fossils. So, what does this mean for outdoorsmen and women? According to comments printed in the Las Vegas Sun from the conservation group Friends of Gold Butte, by protecting Gold Butte as a national conservation area with wilderness, we can strike a balance between protecting the most sensitive areas to allow for hiking, hunting, and photographing ancient rock art, while at the same time ensuring over 500 miles of existing roads remain open for off-road and other vehicles. Nevada can promote Gold Butte as a place where locals and tourists alike can hike, hunt, explore cultural sites, and ride off highway. In other news, what do you do when you see a moose that's fallen through the ice? Well, if you live in northern Idaho, you rescue it. From Northwest Cable News, we learned Benoit County Judge Douglas Payne was driving along the St. Joe River when he spotted another driver looking at a moose that had fallen through the ice and was stuck. Judge Payne and Idaho Fish and Game Conservation Officer Julie Lininger and others came to the rescue of the 800-pound cow. They were able to cut around the ice where the moose was stuck and tie tow straps to the animal's front legs. They were able to pull it from the water in a rescue effort that took them about 30 minutes. The moose, however, did not have the sense to be grateful for her human helpers. According to Lininger, she made a hard charge at us and we all went running off the ice, but everyone went home with a great story, and the mother moose was reunited with her calf that was watching from the shoreline. Next up on America Outdoors Radio, we're going to tell you about an ice fishing festival that's taking place right by the border of Canada in Washington, near the town of Oroville, but more specifically near a little place called Molson. With us here to tell you more about the annual Northwest Ice Fishing Festival is the chairman of the festival and a member of the Oroville Chamber of Commerce, a member of the Molson Grange, and the co-owner of the Eden Valley Guest Ranch, Robin Stice. Robin, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, John. Hello.
Well, hello indeed. Why don't you tell our listeners about the Northwest Ice Fishing Festival? First things first, where and when is it taking place?
Well, it's taking place on January 14th, 2017, and it's at Molson. It starts at the Molson Grange at 7 a.m., and then the ice fishing is at Molson Lake and Sidley Lake, and fishing time is 8 a.m. to 3 p.m.
This ice fishing festival has a reputation of being a really tough one. There's been years, as I recall, where no fish have been caught at this ice fishing festival.
There were 2 years that no fish were caught. That was a few years ago. And part of that was the level of the lake was very, very low. We did have the aerator going, but we had other situations that were happening. But we made the most of it because what we did was we put all of the fishermen's registrations in the hat and turned that all up, and we had a reputable person come up and draw out all of the places. So we still awarded every single place to all the registered fishermen.
Now, last year, I understand you were fishing 2 lakes, Molson Lake, Sidley Lake, and a total of 33 fish were caught. Were these all rainbow trout, and how big was the biggest one?
Yeah, they're all trout, and let me see, I don't have records in front of me what the biggest one was. I want to think that the biggest one might have been, I think it was close to 2 pounds, and they were 17 some odd inches long.
Okay, nothing wrong with that at all. But what I'm trying to tell you here, folks, is that it doesn't take a lot of fish to win this contest. It really, literally, can just be one fish, and you're the winner. Is it the biggest fish? Is that who the grand prize winner is?
The grand prize winner is the weight of your limit, and your limit on Molson or Sidley, you can have a maximum of 2 fish in the tournament. And so your weight on 2 fish, whether you catch 2 fish and maybe there are 2 medium fish and that makes the grand prize, or whether it's 1 really, really large fish, that could be the grand prize, but it's your limit. The grand prize this year has a $1,000 value. We have a certificate from the country store in Oroville, and we also have a $500 check from an anonymous donor to make a $1,000 value on our grand prize. First time ever.
And it's more than just an ice fishing festival. I mean, you're going to meet at the Grange to start off with. I understand things kick off with a nice breakfast, and a lot of other things are happening throughout the day, too.
That's right, and that's the spirit of the Okanagan Highlands, and this comes from our culture and history here. We do a lot of things, and we do it as a community, and our community might be 50 miles wide. So the first thing that we have is a pancake breakfast put on by the Molson Grange, and that's a fundraiser for the Grange. And they've got pancakes, also buckwheat pancakes in addition to regular, ham, homemade applesauce, and eggs any way you want, as well as some fabulous hash browns. Okay, so you can start your registration for the fishing there at 7 o'clock as well, and then folks are able to register at the lake after 8 o'clock. But they can register at the Grange Hall up until about 2 o'clock, and then they can register at the lake as well after 8 a.m.
And I understand that at the Grange throughout the day that there's bingo and there's an arts and crafts fair.
We have an arts and crafts fair all day, and so we have everything from cottage industries. We've got the Borderlands Historical Society coming up with a display, and also tourism information from the Oroville Visitor Center. We have a number of booths of individuals as well as clubs and organizations, and so that's going to be very interesting, and that lines the inside of the Grange Hall. And this hall, by the way, is very, very large. The hall, I believe, is about 100 feet wide and 120 feet long. So it's a huge, huge building. It was built over 100 years ago, and the Molson Grange has owned it since 1944. It's a fabulous building.
Well, Robin, it sounds like an absolute hoot. Again, folks, the date, January 14th. The location is Molson in the far north reaches of north central Washington. It's a Northwest Ice Fishing Festival. Is there a website where folks can find out more, Robin?
OrovilleWashington.org. The bingo, by the way, is 1 to 3 in the afternoon, and Molson Grange is the one that's putting on the bingo, and all the proceeds from the bingo go to support the hall. The lunch will be put on by the Sitzmark ski area, and that's gositzmark.org, and that is all put on by a club, and so if you've never skied at Sitzmark, try that out too. So it benefits a lot of organizations, and the proceeds from everything that we make on this festival go to support the Oroville Visitor Information Center, which is the first visitor information center on Highway 97 as folks come into Washington.
Well, there you go. Again, folks, go to OrovilleWashington.org. That's OrovilleWashington.org, and find out more about participating in the Northwest Ice Fishing Festival on January 14th.
Forgot, we're also having an ice hut contest.
An ice hut contest. Go on.
Yes, we've got prizes for the ice hut contest, and fishermen can register for that when they register to fish.
Okay. Sounds great. Robin, thanks for sharing this with us on America Outdoors Radio. We hope you enjoyed this week's broadcast, brought to you by our sponsors, Northwest Sportsman Magazine, the Alaska Sporting Journal, California Sportsman Magazine, and the American Shooting Journal. 4 great monthly publications, and now is the perfect time to subscribe to one or all of them and keep up on what's happening in the outdoors. If you find yourself at work this week and you want to get your outdoors fix, maybe from your work computer, hopefully you won't be breaking any rules by logging on to WRVO Radio. The website is RenoViolaOutdoors.com. It's an internet station that has over 30 outdoors radio shows, including this one, America Outdoors Radio, and our sister show, Northwestern Outdoors Radio. The website again, RenoViolaOutdoors.com, and I promise I won't tell anybody at work if you're listening. I hope if you're going to be at SHOT Show in Las Vegas the week of January 17th through the 20th that you'll stop by the American Shooting Journal booth. I'll be there in the afternoons. Would love to talk to you. And the week after that, January 25th through the 29th, I'm going to be at the State Fairgrounds in Puyallup for the Washington Sportsman Show. That promises to be a lot of fun, too. You can find out more about what's coming up on this show by going to our website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. You can catch podcasts of our show there as well. And we've got a Facebook page, too. Just look for America Outdoors Radio, and you'll get there. And be sure to like our page and go to the post where you see the Leupold binoculars, because we are giving away a pair of Leupold binoculars once we get 1,100 likes on that page. Simply just say what state you're from, and you're entered to win after you like our page. It's time to go, but I hope that you make the most of this new year and all of the outdoors opportunities and fun that it has to offer. I hope that God blesses you greatly in the week ahead, and remember, it's your country and your outdoors.
It's time for another local shot of the outdoors. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, and you'll only hear it here on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
All right, as we wind up our Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, we thought we'd check in with Gary Crine again, the owner of All Star Fishing Charters. Gary, we're talking blackmouth salmon fishing in Puget Sound. Let's talk about how to do it during the winter months. Exactly how do you catch these fish?
The most effective method at this present time, as of course, is trolling with downriggers, using probably the most popular thing is some kind of flasher and spoon combination. The spoons can typically be, where most of us are using the Gold Star in 3 to 3.5 inch in the Silverlight, some kind of green on it normally, usually green and white.
Do you put any scent or gel on them?
Well, I kind of believe that some center gel is needed if you are one of those guys that struggles with the smell on your thing causing you not to catch as many fish as the next guy. I don't think it hurts anything. I don't think it's mandatory for everybody, but it's not a bad idea and it doesn't hurt anybody.
And in your opinion, why are the spoons working better than cut plug herring?
The reason that I believe that the spoon is the most effective lure right now is because it continues to work with all speeds. Whether you go slow or go, every boat acts a little bit differently, and it's the most versatile of all the lures. The guy who knows what he's doing with his plug cut or whole herring or his atomic plugs or whatever else it might be that he's used for years has his method and technique dialed in. Yeah, he doesn't need to change to spoons. But when you take the overall group of people and the overall difference from boat to boat, spoons will catch the most amount of fish.
Well, there you go. Some great how-to advice from Gary Crine about how to catch blackmouth this winter. If you want to go fishing with Gary, go to his website, allstarfishing.com. He's got a great boat. He'll show you a great time. He'll get you to some fish, too. allstarfishing.com. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you, and have a very happy holidays.
Are you an outfitter, sporting goods retailer, boat dealer, or someone else in the outdoors industry? If you are, you know targeted advertising works best, and what would work better than advertising with America Outdoors Radio? Our hour-long show is heard throughout Seattle, Everett, and the East Side every Saturday morning, and your message will be heard there too. Better still, our rates are way more affordable than you think. Want to find out more? Contact me, John Cruz, through my website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. That's America Outdoors Radio, bringing you more business.